Hey everyone, I'm Jessica. Today it's time for another solo review, and I want to talk about a game that just came in for me, and that is Verdant. This one kind of goes in the same trilogy as Cascadia and Calico before that. That was one of the main reasons why I picked it up. It is about organizing and growing houseplants in a nice little grid where you have plants and rooms kind of alternating around. I liked Cascadia a lot. Didn't play it enough. That one is more open-ended where you're kind of creating an ecosystem with animals and different terrain types and trying to meet different goals. Before that was Calico. That one, really fun one where you are creating a quilt with different patterns, trying to meet some goals, putting some buttons on that quilt, and attracting cats who are going to come by and nap. The only issue I've ever had with Calico, though, is for whatever reason, I cannot always tell the patterns apart. It's very colorful, looks wonderful, but for whatever reason, there's a couple patterns that to me, I have ruined my own plays sometimes. But anyway, why did I pick up Verdant? Because I liked those and I enjoy kind of the process there of drafting to a certain degree and making decisions about what I want to choose. So in this one, Verdant, most of the time, you are choosing between a token that's usually going to be a tool or an object or a pet that will go in a room, and then you're going to pick up cards. So there's a lot of different house plants in this game. Beautiful, really nice artwork. Each one kind of has a little bit of flavor text about it, so I am learning a lot because to me, plants, if it's green, it's a plant. That's my identification skills. But what you're trying to do with these is to grow them in your house, and your house is made up of a bunch of different room cards. So they're going to look like these. And every room, of course, the side you can see has different lighting conditions. And if you match rooms, so for instance, if these two are placed, orthogonally, you get extra points for that at the end of the game for matching that type. So these are both orange. Lighting conditions help grow plants. So for instance, this one, if I grow 4 verdancy on there and grow it with 4 tokens, it will then be potted into a neat little container that goes right across that container and kind of shows you that it has been completed, and you get the points for it. So I started to play this, and it was all right. If you play any of these games, definitely take a look at the scenarios. I recommend trying to play with those versus just sort of a random setup with some random goals. The scenarios actually create nice ways to kind of build up and learn the rules and try some different challenges. So my first couple of plays, I played through the first few scenarios. It was all right. I felt like I kind of had a very similar, it's a 3x5 grid you'll always end up with. So I had some decisions on how to kind of lock in that grid early on, and then later on it was just kind of, I need to do this, there's only a few options, here's what I'm going to do. So it felt a little lackluster. However, like I said, if you're familiar with these games, the scenarios get progressively more and more difficult. So I took a step back and I said, all right, I know the rules, let's keep going with this. Around scenario 4, I had trouble. And that's usually a good indication that a game is great because it is more challenging, I'm losing, and that's what I want to do so that I can feel like I'm kind of building that up. So then I started seeing how there's a lot of different strategies actually to decide how to build up this grid. Because again, yes, it's going to be, room, plant, nothing, that's it. Which doesn't sound exciting, but I found out kind of like just deciding, do I want to take tools or do I want to add objects to these rooms to kind of collect things and get some more points? Does that make more sense? And then having those specific goals actually change things up a lot. So for instance, I had a goal that gave me points for not having some of the plant types. So normally if you get all of the plant types, you get a little bonus. This one actually rewarded me for kind of keeping it very samey and just kind of having one or two plant types, which I really liked. And it took me a good 3 or 4 tries to actually win one of these scenarios. So I am actually enjoying this a lot now. I really want to get it out again, and I really, really want to also play Calico and Cascadia around the same time, because I think at this point, early on it was just Calico and everyone recommended Calico. Then Cascadia came out and there were some comparisons. Some people preferred Calico, some people said get Cascadia, some people said get them both, which I did. And now there's Verdant. So now there's 3. And I think there are definitely differences between all 3 of them. There was a discussion that I had with somebody recently about how you kind of have a different thought process as you're playing through them. They all use kind of similar mechanics in terms of how you are making decisions and what you're building up. You can definitely see similarities there. The theme obviously differs between them. And then there's a little bit of different layers, other mechanics that get added in a little bit to each one. But even having that similar foundation, the way that they come together is very different in terms of how you're thinking. Again, Calico, just me and my mind right now, I have issues just trying to plan out how to go around all 3 of those objectives, and how you have some intersections between quilt tiles that will actually count for a couple of different goals, and trying to make that work and planning it out, very difficult. Cascadia is a little bit more open-ended, where you have, it's more of just a full map that you get to create and sort of fill in as you go, so you don't, you're not locked into creating this small pattern. And then Verdant is a 3x5 grid, which kind of is in between, because you're not locked in from the start, but you do get locked in as you go along. So I'm excited to keep playing Verdant. This has been a great solo experience for me. And I love the box artwork too, which, by the way, I know there's always a discussion, why is there not a calico cat on the cover of Calico? They listened. If you look closely, there is a cat napping on this couch. That's a calico cat right there. So we got it eventually. But yeah, I am looking forward to trying out some more scenarios. I'm still only around scenario 5, and there are 15 included with Verdant, so I definitely need to step up my game so I can do well and organize and grow all these plants. But yeah, if you have played any of these 3, feel free to leave a comment, share what you like about each one, how it feels different. And hopefully, if you've played the other 2 games, you are excited for Verdant. It's great. Love the houseplants. This is the only way I can keep them alive, by the way. Even the simple ones. I don't know. I don't trust myself. But tabletop ones on cards, I got this. That is it, though. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you get some solo games to your table soon. Thanks again. Bye!